You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio. We're also streaming at cklu.ca. Just click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can take us with you and listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. We're also streaming live on facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. As usual, but not usual yesterday, as Facebook, for some reason, wouldn't allow it to stream. But today, it looks like everything is good to go, and we're here. And you're here, so that's all that matters. We're looking at having a great show today, as usual. There's lots of news. News just kind of creates itself, which we're really grateful for. We'll take all the news that we talk about from our news aggregator at sudbury.news. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow all of our channels and pages. We'll be found on demand after the live at youtube.com/Sudbury News, facebook.com/Sudbury News, then also on twitter.com/Sudbury News and sudbury.news. Just click on the Sudbury News Talk tab at the top, and you can catch the shows on demand. But during the live, if you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, make sure to comment. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen. For those watching, for those listening, I'll do my best to get as many of them read as possible so that we're part of a conversation on Sudbury's station, CKLU 96.7 FM. It's been around since 1984. Make sure to, while you're on cklu.ca, donate whatever you're able to, whatever you feel you can, whatever, if you feel the station is worthwhile to Sudbury. It's the only campus and community station of its kind in a large region anyways. And so we value the ability to have local people having shows, volunteers. If you have an idea for a show, you just have to email Rob, and his email is gm@cklu.ca with an idea for a show. So if you can't contribute financially, maybe you can volunteer your time with a show, or if you have know-how with computers or anything to do with radio broadcasting hardware, and we could really use your help because we all work together to keep the station going here in our community. And it's something that needs your help, and it belongs to you at the same time. It's your community station, right? That's what we're branded as, your station. So here we go. Let's just dive right in today. We're going to have a great conversation about local news and some federal stuff that's going on. The Liberals, as we talked about yesterday, lost an important riding, St. Paul, here in Ontario, and they lost it to the Conservatives. It was a riding that was held for 30 years. It looks like that's the way things will be going as far as we can see. As long as elections are done as properly and as fairly as they should be and can be, then we can kind of see the results. All of the polls are coming in that there's going to be Liberals losing seats in droves because of what's been going on the past 10 years, and Canadians are indeed fed up. Fed up, get it? Federal election, fed up. Anyways, whatever. That's a stretch. What's not a stretch is the weather. It just comes in as it is, and grateful for that, and grateful for our partner, Duck Check, in sponsoring our weather portion. And so, yeah, let's just dive in with some weather, and we'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and much more right after this. And as mentioned, our weather is brought to you by Duck Check. They have the know-how to make sure that the air that you are breathing inside your home is as clean and pure as can be. They have the modern equipment to make this happen, and they are locally owned and operated. You can give them a call at 705-918-4848 or check them out at ductcheck.com. That's D-U-C-T, check.com. Currently, it is 14 degrees out there. It's mostly cloudy. Today, we can expect cloudy with a 30% chance of showers this morning. And the high today will be 19. The UV index will be 4. Tonight, partly cloudy, becoming cloudy this evening, low of 8. Thursday, mix of sun and cloud. 30% chance of showers in the morning. Wind becoming 20 kilometers, gusting to 40 in the morning, then becoming 20 from the west in the afternoon. I don't know, unless we're sailing or something, where the wind's coming from in the summer. Not the most important thing, but Environment Canada wants to make sure we know which direction the wind is coming from. Okay, so high of 19 Thursday, the UV index will be 6. Again, tomorrow, 30% chance of showers, high of 19. Friday, cloudy, 19. Saturday, 60% chance of showers. And on Sunday, 60% chance of showers as well. 22 and 20 are your highs for the weekend. And then just in time for the beginning of the work week, sunny with a high of 26. And Tuesday of next week, 60% chance of showers again. Good for the gardens. And so you got to look at it as positively as you can for that reason. And it's 22 degrees is your high. Look at your satellite here. You can see just doesn't look like too many threatening clouds over the city, but it is what it is. You have a lot of activity right on Thunder Bay, a lot of precipitation and all kinds of stuff. Looks like they have thunderstorms and all kinds of things right around their city up there. But that's your weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca and Duck Check, where you can get your ducks cleaned, inspected from a trustworthy source, someone with experience and the modern equipment to make it happen. Let them know that we sent you, and you'll get $100 off your next duck cleaning and inspection. So, or give them a call at 705-918-4848 or ductcheck.com. Give them a visit, drop them an email. Whatever you do, just let them know we sent you for your $100 off. That's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by Duck Check. We'll be back with your comments, news headlines, and much more right after this. Okay, and we are indeed back, and we have quite a few people joining us because we are on Facebook today along with YouTube. Yesterday we were only on YouTube. There was a bit of a glitch. Not sure what happened. It is what it is. Life happens. And first to the table this morning and on YouTube, it's Nana. Good morning to you as well, Nana. Good morning, everyone. Judy, first to the Facebook party this morning on Facebook. Good morning to you, Judy. Marianne, good morning. Everyone from Barrie, liked and shared as usual. Good morning, Claire. Hope you're having a great morning. Along with Debbie with a smiley emoji. Good morning. Marianne says, got to love censorship. Yes, well, it comes in all sizes and shapes. Maurice, good morning with a smiley emoji. Belinda with the positive statement of the day. Good morning, Belinda. Empower yourself through knowledge so as not to fear the unknown, but to make the unknown known. This knowledge reduces anxiety, reduces fear, and allows you to feel a more profound sense of inner peace. Yes, that is totally true. And I wish I had that in my being going into my job interview on Monday. The more I go over it and over it in my mind, the more I was like, man, I just totally dropped the ball big time on that one. Well, you never know. You might get another chance at the same interview for the same job 5 times. Maybe the 5th time will be the charm. And that's the way I work. I got to do something over and over and over and over in order to have it stick And it's a good thing I am in a position or a job and in school where there's a lot of repetition, or teaching. There's a lot of repetition there. And eventually you nail it. And the more chances you get, the better you can do. So I just look at it in a positive way. And knowledge is power. It dissipates fear. The more you know about something, the more you feel prepared, and it reduces anxiety, it reduces fear. So going into something, just prepare as much as you can and then let the chips fall where they may, and maybe you'll get another chance at something, which is part of the learning process. Okay, Monique, good morning from Sudbury, or good morning Sudbury with a smiley emoji. And Jerome, good morning all. Truth comes. Yes, it does. It eventually does. Now, whether we're open to it or not, truth will eventually make its way, rises to the top kind of thing. Marianne says Trudeau and Freeland are scrambling. LOL. Yes, we have a video from Chrystia Freeland this morning speaking about the loss of a seat in St. Paul and some of the interesting responses she had to reporters' questions. It's just interesting. It's telling about maybe why we are where we are at in this country. Mona, good morning, everyone. Heart emoji. Thanks for being on, Mona. Good morning to you. And Denise says, good morning, everyone. All have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. Sorry, yes, Denise. And Belinda also, we are watching The Fall of Tyranny, the government that wanted inclusiveness but didn't include opposing views. Yeah, the whole inclusive thing, right? It's like you're welcome, you're included as long as you think the same way the people in charge of the inclusivity think, and then you're included. But if you don't, you're not included. So it's not, it's not an all-inclusive, all-encompassing movement that's out there. It's the opposite. Denise, like and share. Thank you very much, Denise, for that. And Debbie, comments not showing. Okay, well, they are showing as far as I can see here. So maybe it's a specific thing that you have along with your comment section. I know mine sometimes takes a while to load. Estelle, good morning to you. Hope you're having a good morning. And Denise, blessings from Espanola. 11 minutes later, I just keep refreshing and work. Oh, you know what? We were off to a bit of a late start this morning. So part of that could have been my doing. There was, yesterday it was the program that we used to broadcast. And today it was the program we used to get on the radio at CKLU. We need a program to do that, a program to actually broadcast the live stream. They all work together. We've got a lot of duct tape here in the studio. And the miracle is that most days it's able to function. And today we got her going, but there are some times where you work with computers, right? You know what happens with computers. They're supposed to make our lives easier, and in some cases they do. But there's always glitches and problems and things you don't foresee happening. And we have several of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laptops and a phone and a pad and an iPad. So all kinds of programs and computers. And if one of them has something with it that's not functioning properly, then it causes a broken link in the chain kind of thing. So Belinda says, still in the game. Don't give up hope. You're a very authentic person. Well, thank you very much, Belinda. I really appreciate that. I take advice of others that say that's probably the best way you can go about doing the show is use your voice, your conversational voice. Don't have to make a radio voice like that kind of thing. And be yourself and try to be your best self. And it was really good advice. And so hopefully it's coming through. Yes, keep having to go out for them to show. Yes, keep having to go out for them to show. Oh, the comments. Yes, that's interesting. So here we are, right? There's different algorithms, different things going on different platforms that we don't understand. We're not sure why, but we just keep going forward. That's why I have kids. They are my tech support. Yeah, I think yourself and many others are in the same boat. Let's dive into some local headlines, shall we? From Sudbury.news. It's our local news aggregator. If you haven't checked it out recently, it's always being refined and made better, and it's a local news aggregator. We're Sudbury.com, CTV Northern Ontario, CBC Sudbury, Sudbury Star, all aggregate, which means lands on one page. When you go to Sudbury.news, you just scroll down a little bit. You got all the news headlines from all of the local news outlets. It's a service that we provide for free to the community and to the news outlets. Families, $250,000 donation pays for new Laurentian gym floor. There you go. That's the way a lot of things are done in the city, through philanthropy. Land is donated, money is given, all kinds of resources to different causes. And in this case, it's Laurentian University. And families, $250,000 donation pays for new Laurentian gym floor. Donors Danica Robertson and Robert Martin are the parents of a current Laurentian University student. Wow, well, there you go. Well, I'm sure their donation is much appreciated for the new gym floor. A new gym floor gets a lot of use, obviously, and goes to good use. So there's a summit to find solutions to Ontario's housing crisis. It's coming to Sudbury. Home builders, politicians. Oh, the previous story was from Sudbury.com, by the way. But there's a housing summit coming to Sudbury where home builders, politicians, and regulators were gathered in a hotel basement in Sudbury. Oh, that was yesterday. To find solutions to Ontario's housing crisis. And that was from CBC. I know CTV did a story on that as well. Maybe we'll have a little clip from CTV on that in a little bit here. Some more headlines. Beaver Lake. We always like to include Beaver Lake in our Sudbury news. A shout out to all of our friends in Beaver Lake. Sudbury to close Beaver Lake Fire Hall after it fails to recruit enough volunteer firefighters. Now, this is very sad news, as I know they had a huge effort to keep their fire station open. It was, they had all kinds of people coming together, but City Council had gave the station a year to recruit enough people to be viable in June of 2023. Now the deadline has passed, and councillors voted down a request to grant an extension yesterday at Tuesday's meeting. Also coming out of that meeting, new landfill user fees here in Sudbury will be $5 per visit. It'll take effect July the 1st, despite an effort by Ward 5 Councillor Mike Panon to cancel the new user fee. It took effect. A split vote of the City Council shot it down during Tuesday night's meeting. So now we'll be paying $5 per visit at landfills. And hopefully that goes to a good cause, and we'll be able to benefit by the money being put to good use, and our landfills will be in even better condition for the people of Greater Sudbury. Here we go. Here's the summit that we're looking at, the story from CTV. So usually they have some commercials that go ahead of it. And we'll just do a little bit of a pause here. But yeah, usually the sound doesn't come on. But it did today. The sound came on today. And we're just waiting for the ads to go through for the story about the housing summit. And here you go. Good to go. Oh, and look at that. Yeah, it's just now you can see in real time the struggles that I have with some of these things. It's not user friendly. Anyway, CTV, take it away. Housing Summit in Sudbury.
From housing affordability to regulatory reform, technological advancements, and sustainable building practices, organizers say the Housing Summit served as a platform for more than 80 people to network and gain knowledge specific to people in the North.
We have a high demand for housing because we have more people coming, more people locating in Northern Ontario than we've ever seen before. But at the same time, we're tackling high interest rates, we're tackling high costs of land, and we're still having some problems getting and sourcing materials still coming out of COVID.
The event featured panels including one with Sudbury Mayor Paul Lefebvre and federal housing critic Scott Aitchison.
We need to do a better job of speeding up the approvals process and getting built what we need to get built. Frankly, the solution to the housing crisis in Canada and in Northern Ontario is less government.
We have been making some steps, but now we need to make some strides. Housing shortage is a big issue throughout Ontario, but not every municipality has the same issues.
The event was sponsored by Enbridge, and officials with the company say they're proud to support initiatives that promote responsible growth and community engagement.
What we are really focused on is making sure that Enbridge stays part of that solution as we decarbonize, as we look at new ways to build, but more importantly, that we're there with the Ontario home builders as they build those homes, and we can provide the resiliency and the affordability that's required for people not only to be able to afford to buy the home, but to operate it in the long run.
The Northern Ontario Housing Summit is one of several happening across the province this year, and organizers say the hope is to have this event be something that comes back year after year. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, thank you very much for that. And from CTV, we appreciate your reporting, as usual. Many different things to take away from that, right? You saw the Conservative representative and from the province say we need less government in order to make it viable. But he's working together with other people who don't have that point of view, who feel it needs to be more government. And you heard the one lady say, as we decarbonize, which is an interesting term, decarbonize, which means we have to get rid of all people, which there's a lot of people that would be happy with that. Because that's one of the ideologies that drives a lot of this stuff, that the world is overpopulated, right? So I think we can see the writing on the wall with that one. Then we wouldn't have a housing crisis. So maybe that solves that too, right? So I say that sarcastically. I don't feel that there's too many people. I don't feel that there's too much carbon. Carbon is really great for the plants. And I thought we were having a problem. I thought we wanted to green everything at one point. Everything was green. Green this, green that, green everything. Well, more carbon makes more green. The plants eat it. It's plant food. It's like, give your head a shake. Anyways, we too talk about that. If that's the first time you're hearing anything around that discussed on this show and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? That's not what the CBC says. Well, you have to tune into the show a little bit more, and we do give evidence-based information from credible sources that back up what I just said. So I'm sorry if this is the first time you're hearing this. It's fine. We will expound on that, and we will explain that. But Estelle is saying she's hearing sirens in the field area for the last 2 hours. I wonder if there's something going on there. We'll have to stay tuned and find out what the sirens were for. Belinda says, too bad all the money at Laurentian University was squandered, having to rely on handouts. Inexcusable. Also going on to say, providing a fire station, this is about the story from Beaver Lake losing their fire station, providing a fire station and equipment to every community is the first line of defense against an emergency. It's the heart of every community. Families feel safer and more secure if they know help is just minutes away. And then Marianne says, in Barrie, they get 300 kilograms free when they drop it off 150 kilograms, they get 300 kilograms free. They dropped it to 150 kilograms. Okay, so they used to get 300 kilograms free. Now it's 150 kilograms, which equates to 2 garbage bags. And now it's $10 per load. If you're over, the only thing you can drop off for free is chemicals, example, paint cans, etc. So yeah, and I think some of the counselors were alluding to other communities that were charging, right? So you guys pay $10. This is only $5. So that's their case they made, right, for that. And good morning, Kevin. I hope everyone has a great day today, and I hope you do as well. And Bob says, decarbonize. I caught that as well in that story. Decarbonize. It's pretty much impossible to decarbonize, right? If you understand what carbon is. Decarbonize. That's an interesting one. That's someone who's definitely not informed with reality. But reducing carbon only provides green to line the pockets of the politician. There you go. It's a new kind of green program. A new kind of green program as we decarbonize. The plants don't have food, so we have less green, but we have more green in politicians' pockets. So there you go. Told yous, multi-million-dollar moneymaker, garbage, more to come. There you go. And now from Sudbury.com, they have the section, Good Morning Sudbury, stories to start your day. They have that Sudbury debt is on track to exceed $500 million, which we talked about on the show, a couple days ago, that we went from 40 million 4 years ago. Now it's going to be over 600 million. And good morning, Brian, just arrived. Good morning, Patriots. Good morning to you, Brian. So we're on track to exceed $500 million. The City of Greater Sudbury's debt load is on track to peak at almost $600 million by 2028. The city's debt load at the end of 23 was $3.25 million, and the city council has greenlit securing an additional more than $259.4 million. This includes $124.4 million towards infrastructure, $135 million, toward a new arena or event center downtown Sudbury. This is a significant jump from a low of $18.98 million debt recorded in 2014. Imagine that. Less than $20 million debt in 2014. So 10 short years ago. Wow. And follows borrowing for such projects as Pioneer Manor, bed redevelopment, the library/art gallery project, which will bring much tourism dollars to Sudbury, as was said by those that were proponents for the new library. People are going to come far and wide to use our library. Downtown area, MR35, and various other infrastructure projects are included in this borrowing. The city has self-imposed policy under which their annual repayment limit is no greater than 10% of its own source revenue. That's not good. Under this policy, City Council could borrow an additional $200.6 million beyond current projections under provincial guidelines, which allow for a greater debt threshold. The city could incur as much as approximately $1.3 billion in debt beyond current levels. Well, you can be rest assured we're going to do that, because you can be rest assured the person that's mainly in charge of this, was elected as mayor, is all on board, because their political ideology is spend and tax. Spend and tax, spend and tax, spend and tax. And then the budget will take care of itself, as we heard from their fearless leader, who happens to be the leader of this country as well. And we just had the fortunate opportunity of having such a great leader who has said interesting things like that have to do with money and managing money. Like, the budget is going to balance itself, right? Why would we need to actually think about it or make a plan and then accuse his opponents that they don't have plans.
Into item 4.1.
I already paused it. Why does it replay after I pause it? Anyways, so here you go. That's a good segue into what we'll be talking about today. The Liberals just lost a riding, and that's what's going to happen because people see through what I was just talking about in this country. They see through it. They know that that's not right. The budget doesn't just balance itself. You can't just spend and tax. And as we saw a video before, the Prime Minister himself suffers from a learning disability where he can't do simple math, right? And so we see it's right there. And then we have a finance minister who is a journalist, not anyone with a background in finances. What did we expect? Like, what are we expecting? You know, it's we're getting exactly what you would expect if you have these people in charge of your country, right? So here's Chrystia Freeland, our finance minister, deputy prime minister, qualified because she was a journalist, so she can do these kinds of things. Speaking to journalists about losing in St. Paul, some of the interesting things that she said here. Let's have a listen.
Deputy Prime Minister, can the Prime Minister still stay on to lead the Liberal Party into the next election, given that you just lost one of the safest seats in the entire country last night?
Yes, he certainly can.
Can you explain why? Because everybody we're hearing from behind the scenes believes that the result last night means catastrophic losses across the country. If you cannot win in Toronto under Justin Trudeau, why should anybody believe you can win anywhere else under him?
Our government is focused on working hard for Canada and Canadians and on delivering results for Canada and Canadians. That is what the Prime Minister is focused on. That is what we are all focused on. The Prime Minister is committed to leading us into the next election, and he has our support.
Next question.
Hi, Minister. Barbara with iPolitics. Still about last night's results in Toronto, St. Paul's. Do you think the Liberals need a radical change in strategy and that perhaps a new leader in the party might be a necessary change?
I just answered that question. Let me say the Prime Minister is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. Our whole government is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. That's what we're going to continue to do. The result in St. Paul's is certainly disappointing. We knew it was going to be a hard fight. I think it's especially disappointing because so many of us know Leslie. We know how hard she and her team worked. And I do also want to congratulate Don Stewart. He and his team worked hard as well. We know that these are hard times for Canadians. We know that we have to work hard to earn back their trust. And we know that the way to do that is by delivering for them, by delivering fairness for every generation, by delivering investments in housing and infrastructure, including in rural broadband, the investment we're announcing today, by delivering investments in making life more affordable for Canadians with things like dental care, which is being rolled out this month to kids under 18, by delivering on a national program of early learning and childcare. Already, families in Ontario are saving more than $8,000 per child, but we need to get to $10 a day and be sure there are enough spaces for all the families that want a space. We need to keep on delivering investments in our economy and in economic growth. I was at a car parts plant yesterday, and I could see the brilliant work the people working there are doing, the workers, the innovators. They need our support so that Canada can be on the cutting edge of the 21st century global economy. And we know that we need to deliver all of those investments in a fiscally responsible way so that inflation can continue to stabilize. It's now been within the Bank of Canada's target range for 5 months in a row. That's good news. We have more work to do so that the Bank of Canada can continue its work bringing rates down.
And why exactly do you think the Liberals are failing to retain voters in ridings like St. Paul's that, the party held for decades? What is going on?
I think I already answered that question, and I'll just say this is a disappointing result. We take it seriously. We know that things are hard for people in Canada, and we know we have to work even harder delivering for Canadians, winning back the trust of Canadians. That's what we're all committed to do.
So they have to work even harder winning back the trust of Canadians. When did they lose it? And why? If she feels, that's what I would ask as a reporter. So when did you lose the trust, and why do you think you lost the trust of Canadians, and why do you have to get it back? Right? And she said a few things in there that they need to be doing all the investing, right? So that shows you that they don't have an understanding of economy and vibrant economies. Where the government has to do all the investing is not good for an economy. She did not say we need to be encouraging private investing and really get the economy going so that people are investing. No, the government needs to be doing all the investing. With whose money? Your money, right? It's a whole communist ideology way of doing things where the government does everything for you. And how is that working so far? Like, how has the country got? Has it got better over the last 8 years? So again, it's just people don't understand the difference between parties. Like there are certain things, there's reasons why there's different parties. It's not just the people. They don't just say, you know what, I like that color, I'm going to belong to that party. No, there's a whole framework of what the party stands for. And one of the things Liberals have been known to do in the past is just do a little bit of what all the other parties do and just kind of be middle of the road, right? But no, they made a conscious choice to go very far left and very far communist at some point. And that's the decisions they're doing. They're destroying the economy, as you can see. That's what's going on. They've been in power for 8 years. The economy is being destroyed. So who's in charge of it? They are. So it's on their watch. They can make all the excuses and blame all the people that they want, but it's not the case. But there's a gentleman by the name of Peter Salemi, and he's just an everyday, ordinary, average citizen. And I think he kind of has the sentiments of what most people say. And someone did mention that Chrystia Freeland, being a journalist, on her resume, she has the fact that she, I think, helped, assisted, or wrote the biography of George Soros, a book for him, right? And was friends with him for many years, and something that I wanted to say publicly on this show at some particular point. If you don't know who that is, if you've ever watched Star Wars, the Sith, the Emperor kind of thing, the guy who was the governor or whatever at the time, who was, pretending he was there for the people, but he was actually a Sith Lord. I think he played the part in the movie, or it's a guy who looks exactly like him. Anyways, so George, not a fan of free world. He's very much a communist and very rich and able to fund a lot of these movements. And so he's behind a lot of these movements that we see. He's the one that is involved with hijacking Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ2S+ movements, the feminist movement, any movement, he'll hijack it, politicize it, and use it for the method of bringing the world to a communist-style government. So that's whose money is behind that, and that's who Chrystia Freeland is friends with. But anyways, I digress. Here's Peter Salemi speaking about what just happened with the Chrystia Freeland's comments that we just heard, and we'll be back right after this.
Hi, Peter Salemi. Well, it looks like Justin Trudeau is not resigning after that defeat that the Liberals took last night in Toronto, a Liberal stronghold for like 30 years, and they lost to the Conservatives. And that's just a tiny microcosm of what's going to happen in the federal election. And Trudeau says he's not going to resign. Instead, he says he's going to work even harder. He says, we hear you, Canadians, and we're going to work harder. Do Canadians think that means that he's going to stop the carbon tax? Do you think he's going to stop his wasteful spending? You think he's going to stop the capital gains tax? Absolutely not. That means he's just going to come up with more government programs to make you slaves to the state even more, to make you more dependent on government and not yourself. That's what that means. That means more spending. And more spending means more taxes. That's all he knows because, of course, the Liberal Party is a tax and spend party. That's all they do. He's a socialist. What's-her-face, Chrystia Freeland, she's not a professor of economy or anything like that. She's a journalist. These people know squat about the economy, yet they are the ones that are running this country, running it into the ground. So he's not going to resign. Not surprised. He's narcissist. Narcissists like him don't resign. So the only hope we really have is for Jagmeet Singh to pull out of this coalition and force an election. Doubtful, because he wants his pension. Or we have the Liberals themselves to kick Justin Trudeau out. And is that going to happen? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. But a lot of these guys want their pensions. That's why he's delayed the election one more week for next year in October, one more week. So a lot of these idiots get their pensions because these guys, all they care about really is themselves and not the country.
And I really
if there is one natural disaster, I don't think anybody watching this video would want
with him for so long, because he's like, don't worry about it. I will get you your pensions. You know, just go along with me. Just don't call an election sooner, because if you do, you will lose your pension. All right, and so he's able to strengthen his coalition that way, in order to have, I don't know how many of these MPs are there. I know it's in the tens of whatever. It's there's a lot of them that wouldn't qualify for pensions if even the election was on the regular date it's supposed to be. So that's what he does. He moves the election 1 week further, so that way they can qualify for pensions. That's your tax dollars, and it gives them money. What a pension is, it's money comes in that you don't work for the rest of your life. You know? So does that sound like a guy who's got the Canadians, the regular, everyday working class Canadians, has their needs and wants in mind and is fighting for them? So here's a classic example of someone who says they're doing something while they're doing the total opposite all the time, and then has all the resources to be able to try and convince people that that's the way that's going. Try and tell you something's black when it's white. Try and tell you it's day when it's night. You know, it's absurd. It's absurdity. And I guess there are a lot of people that do go along with it. I'm not sure why. It baffles me as a kind of I don't know, just a study of our society, having people not really recognize that and not really understand what's really going on. You know, like, has your life gotten better in the last 8 years or so? How about poverty? Has poverty gotten, have we done anything about poverty? Has it gotten better? Are there more people making more money and poverty's going away? Or has it gotten worse? Well, we know that food bank attendance has skyrocketed. So there's way more people going to food banks, way more people living in tents, as we just saw with our Sudbury Senior Center. They have an encampment right beside their place where they don't feel safe, and the city can't do or won't do anything about it until they leave. They said they'll clean it for them when they leave. And that's it, Yeah, it's really backwards. It's really clear to me. Again, just this one thing of moving the election 1 week from where it was supposed to be originally in 2025, because the amount of time that an MP needs to sit as an elected official doing their job, they would be 1 week shy of getting their pension. So he moved it. And who can't see that that's a political move? Now, all those MPs, why would they stand up and say, we want an election now? We got to get rid of Trudeau. You know? So they know the writing's on the wall. They will not be reelected. They know, and they know even more they won't be reelected if they don't do the right thing now and call an election and try and right the wrongs that have been done. So they're not going to do that. So they know their constituents are going to be PO'd at them, and they know they're not going to be reelected. But they're happy knowing that even though they're not going to be reelected, they'll have a nice, juicy pension at the end of the day. So who do they have in mind? Like, who are they working for right now? These MPs. Are they working for you? So just ask yourself that. Like, why wouldn't they stand up and say, no, that's not ethically correct, what you're doing, even though I would benefit. Now, imagine this, an MP stood up and said that, what I'm saying right now. Even though I will benefit by receiving a pension, and there's a good chance I won't be reelected, I need to do the right thing right now. So that's what I'm going to have integrity. And you'll know that because I'm standing up saying I'm putting everything on the line. I'm willing to put my pension on the line by doing the right thing because I'm here for you, not for me. Can you imagine having a politician speak like that? When will we see that? Will we ever see that? We are told by them that that's what they are, even though they do the opposite. But do it with your actions, like show us by what you're doing. That would show me something. I go, wow, that person has integrity. You know, even I might not agree with all their politics or whatever, but if they were truly there to serve the people, truly there, it almost wouldn't even matter what party you belong to. If you were truly there to serve the people, you know, but you can tell that's not what they're there for. They're there for their pensions, right? Because none of them are standing up and saying, we want to do the right thing in spite of. Now, doing the right thing now is to end the show because we're out of time. So unfortunately, we're going to have to see you tomorrow and on Thursday. So that's the show that was on Wednesday, Hump Day, June the 26th, 2024. Thanks for being with us, everyone. Thanks for commenting and making it through to the end. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your comments and being on each and every day. This is your show. I'm just the facilitator of it. So we hope to see all of you same time, same place on the same platform or station tomorrow. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 and 96.7. Have a safe and enjoyable rest of your day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.